The math of a standard retirement plan is designed to fail you until you are too old to enjoy the results. You are currently participating in a financial system that prioritizes institutional stability over your personal freedom. And if you don't change the way you view cash flow, you will likely spend your best years trading your time for a paycheck that barely keeps pace with the cost of living. The traditional advice is to buy into reliable blue-chip companies and wait 40 years for the magic of compounding to take over. But there is a mathematical reality that most financial advisors won't tell you. For the average person starting with a modest sum, waiting for traditional dividends to replace your income is a statistical long shot that often requires more time than you actually have left. Later in this breakdown, we are going to look at a specific mathematical threshold, the cash flow gap, which explains why a portfolio that grows at 8% but pays 2% in dividends actually forces you to work 12 years longer than a portfolio with higher immediate yields. This isn't a guess. It is the cold, hard logic of the internal rate of return when applied to human life expectancy. Most investors are hypnotized by the dividend aristocrat label, thinking that a company increasing its payout for 50 years is a guarantee of their own freedom. In reality, that 2% yield is often a stagnant pool of capital that serves the company's balance sheet far more than it serves your grocery bill. If you are 30 years old today and you manage to scrape together $10,000, which for many is a significant achievement representing months or years of sacrifice, you are told to put it into a titan like Johnson & Johnson. This company is a staple of the dividend investing world. They have raised their dividends every single year for over half a century. On paper, it looks like the ultimate safety net. But when you look at the actual deposit hitting your brokerage account, the illusion of progress starts to shatter. At a typical yield of roughly 2.5%, that $10,000 sacrifice generates about $20 a month. Think about that for a second. You have committed the price of a functional used car into the global equity markets, and the reward is the equivalent of a single lunch at a fast food restaurant. Does $20 a month feel like freedom to you? Does it feel like the first step toward quitting a job you hate? Probably not. This is where the psychological friction begins. Most investors quit dividend investing within the first 24 months because the feedback loop is too weak. The system relies on you having patience, but patience is a finite resource when inflation is eating your purchasing power and your bills are arriving every 30 days, not every 30 years. If you stay the course with these low-yield dividend stocks, you are essentially signing a 40-year contract with the market. Let's look at the mechanics of this growth. Companies like Johnson & Johnson or Procter & Gamble typically increase their dividends by a few cents per share every year. While that sounds great in a boardroom presentation, the actual impact on your life is microscopic. We are talking about a growth rate that might see your $20 a month turn into $21 next year. If you aren't adding massive amounts of new capital every single month, you are effectively standing still while the world moves on without you. If you took that $10,000 and simply let it sit, refusing to reinvest a single penny of those dividends because you actually wanted to use the money for its intended purpose, improving your life, you would end up with a pittance after 4 decades. Even with the annual increases, the total dividend income over 40 years wouldn't even cover the cost of a modest new vehicle in today's prices, let alone 40 years from now when inflation has finished its work. Even if you are a good student of finance and you reinvest every cent back into the same stock, the total accumulation is still shockingly low for the amount of time you've sacrificed. If this realization about the slow pace of traditional growth is making you rethink your current strategy, hit the like button and subscribe. Understanding exactly where your capital is stuck is the only way to move it toward where it actually works for you. Let's look at why this happens to so many people. The problem is that the dividend growth model was built for people who already have millions of dollars. If you have $5 million, a 2.5% yield gives you $125,000 a year. That's a great life. But the financial media sells this same strategy to the person with $5,000. For that person, the 2.5% yield is a trap. It keeps them tethered to a desk, hoping that by the time they are 75, they'll finally have enough to buy a sandwich without checking their bank balance. This is why a huge portion of retail investors eventually give up. They realize that at their current pace, they will be wealthy only when they are too old to enjoy the wealth. So how do you fix the math? If you don't have 40 years to wait and you don't have $1 million sitting in a tax-free growth account like a Roth IRA, you have to shift your perspective on what a good investment looks like. You have to move away from the traditional blue chips and toward what are known as income engines. These are specialized financial structures designed specifically to extract the maximum amount of cash from the market and hand it directly to the shareholder in the form of dividends. The first major category that shifts the timeline is the covered call ETF. Now, many people hear options and they immediately think of high-risk gambling, but these funds use options as a defensive income strategy. They buy a basket of stocks like the ones in the Nasdaq 100, and then they sell calls against those stocks. Essentially, they are selling the potential upside of the stocks to someone else in exchange for an immediate cash payment called a premium. This premium is then bundled up and paid out to you as dividends. Take a fund like QYLD. While a traditional stock might pay you 2% a year, a fund like this can pay upwards of 11% or 12% in dividends. It pays these dividends every single month, not every quarter. Let's go back to our $10,000 example. Instead of $20 a month from a traditional dividend stock, that same $10,000 in a covered call engine could generate over $100 every single month. Think about the psychological difference between $20 and $100. $20 is a rounding error. $100 is a utility bill, it's a tank of gas. It's a tangible, real-world expense that you no longer have to work to pay for. This creates a positive feedback loop. When you see your dividends actually covering your real-life costs, you are far more likely to stay invested and keep adding money. The momentum builds because the rewards are immediate, not 40 years away. To understand why these dividends are so much higher, you have to understand the friction of the market. Volatility is usually seen as the enemy of the investor. When the market goes up and down violently, most people panic. But for a covered call fund, volatility is the fuel. The more nervous the market is, the higher the premiums people are willing to pay for those call options. This means that in a choppy or flat market where traditional stocks are doing nothing, these high-yield engines are often cranking out their biggest dividends. Before we look at the specific tax rules that make these high payouts possible, if you're finding this breakdown of income engines useful for your own portfolio, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's look at the legal loophole that allows certain companies to pay out massive amounts of cash. There is another sector that most retail investors completely overlook because it isn't flashy like tech stocks. These are business development companies, or BDCs. To understand them, you have to go back to 1980, when the U.S. Congress created a special legal framework to encourage investment in small and medium-sized American businesses. These companies act like private equity firms for the public. They lend money to growing businesses that might not be able to get a traditional bank loan. The catch that works in your favor is the tax code. Just like real estate investment trusts, REITs, BDCs are required by law to pay out at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders in the form of dividends. Because they are charging high interest rates on the loans they give out, they have a massive amount of cash coming in. Since they aren't allowed to keep it to grow their own corporate empire, they have to send it to you. This is why you see BDCs like Ares Capital, ARCC, consistently offering yields in the 8% to 10% range. They aren't magically making money out of thin air. They are simply legally obligated to share the loot. When you compare this to a traditional corporation that might keep 90% of its profit to buy back its own stock or pay for a CEO's private jet, you start to see why the BDC model is a dividend investor's best friend. You are essentially cutting out the middleman and getting the raw cash flow of American industry. When you combine covered call ETFs with BDCs and REITs, you aren't just investing. You are building a private pension fund. You are creating a situation where the dividends are high enough that you can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you can reach a point where your dividends cover your basic living expenses, you have achieved level 1 financial independence. You no longer work because you have to, you work because you want to. Compare two people. Person A follows the traditional path, buying 2% yield stocks and waiting until age 65 to start selling shares to survive. Person B focuses on high-yield dividend engines, reinvesting an 11% yield. Mathematically, person B can reach the same level of spendable income in less than half the time, assuming they are starting from the same point. The growth in person B's portfolio comes from the aggressive reinvestment of those massive dividends, which buys more shares, which produces even more dividends. It's a snowball effect on steroids. We often talk about finance as if we are robots, but the reality is that investing is 90% psychology. If you don't see results, you will stop. This is the hidden risk of the low-yield strategy. It isn't just that it's slow, it's that it's boring and discouraging. When the market crashes and your J&J stock is down 20% and your dividend is only $20, you feel like a loser. You feel like you've wasted your money. But if the market crashes and you own a high-yield engine like QYLD or ARCC, and you see a $100 or $500 dividend hit your account, your perspective changes. You stop looking at the price of the stock and you start looking at the quantity of the dividends. You realize that the market is on sale, and your dividends are now buying even more shares at a discount. The cash flow acts as a psychological buffer that prevents you from making the biggest mistake in investing: selling at the bottom. Have you ever looked at your monthly expenses and calculated exactly how much capital you would need at an 8% yield to cover them? Most people find that the number is much smaller than the $2 million the media says they need. If you need $3,000 a month to live at a 10% yield, you need a $360,000 portfolio. That is a mountain, but it's a mountain you can actually climb. If you try to get that same $3,000 from a 2% yield, you need $1.8 million. Which goal feels more achievable to you? The final piece of the puzzle is diversification within the high-yield space. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, even if that basket pays a 12% dividend. You want to layer your income. You take some covered call ETFs for tech exposure, some BDCs for mid-market corporate exposure, and some REITs for real estate exposure. This creates a dividend fortress that is resilient to different economic cycles. If tech stocks are down, your tech-heavy covered call funds might see a price dip, but their dividends might actually increase due to the volatility. Meanwhile, your BDCs are still collecting interest on their loans, and your REITs are still collecting rent from their tenants. This multi-stream approach ensures that no matter what the headline on the news says, your personal paycheck stays consistent. This is the aggressive dividend strategy. It isn't about reckless gambling. It's about shifting the priority from maybe wealth in 40 years to actual cash flow today. It's about recognizing that time is your most valuable asset, and every year you spend working a job you don't like because your portfolio isn't paying you enough is a year you can never get back. You have to ask yourself, are you investing to see a big number on a screen when you're 80, or are you investing to change the way you live your life next year? The system is designed to keep you waiting. It's designed to keep your capital locked up in low-yield vehicles that provide stability for the overall market but very little freedom for the individual. Breaking out of that cycle requires the courage to look at alternative investments and understand the math behind them. Earlier, I mentioned the cash flow gap and why a 2% yield can force you to work over a decade longer than necessary. Here is the math. If you are reinvesting a 10% dividend, your share count doubles every 7 years even if the stock price never moves a single penny. If you are reinvesting a 2% dividend, it takes 36 years to double your share count through dividends alone. That 30-year difference is your life. That is your children's childhood, your health, and your freedom. When you choose a high-yield dividend strategy, you are choosing to close that gap. You are choosing to prioritize the now without sacrificing the later. You are building a machine that pays you for existing. It doesn't matter if you are at the beach, in the mountains, or sleeping. Those companies are still lending money, those options are still being sold, and those tenants are still paying rent. The bottom line is that the dividend aristocrat path is a luxury for the already wealthy. For the rest of us, it's a slow boat to a destination we might not live to see. If you want to accelerate your timeline, you have to target the high-yield engines that the mainstream media often ignores. You have to be willing to be different to get a different result. Would you rather have a portfolio that looks safe to a bank but pays you nothing, or a portfolio that the experts call aggressive but pays for your entire lifestyle? If you want to understand how to balance this high-yield approach with the stability of the broader market, you need to see the data on how dividends act as a shield during the worst economic downturns. I actually broke down the exact math on how certain income strategies outperform the S&P 500 when everything else is crashing. You can see that breakdown in the video on your screen. I'll see you there.